There's the river itself, there's the land around it, there's the farming communities, there are the settlements, there's the archaeology, there's just everything that you could want.
I've been drawing wildflowers all my life really, but I didn't have that knowledge of the diversity that you can find in places like this.
The Upper Nidderdale Landscape Partnership was initiated by the AONB. It's a great project because the essence of it is that it brings together a wide variety of people with an immense range of skills and knowledge about the Upper Dale, who are working together on projects which are designed to conserve and enhance this wonderful living landscape.
My family's lived in this dale for hundreds of years basically, so I've got a long heritage going back in the dale, and this dale has changed so much over that time. Clearly it was far more industrial than it is now, with the railways, the quarries, the mining, everything else that was happening in the dale. It was a far different place than it is now, and it's something that we need to remember, and it's something we need to preserve the best we can. We've got a brilliant community in the Dale, and we get great support from volunteers. This Dale would not function without volunteers.
I think in the first year we did nest boxes, we had something like 3 pine fly nests. This year we've had 17, so this is really good. In addition to that, we're making 54 today for 4 different schools that we're working with. We go in there, we talk to the children about birds, about how they fit into the environment, how to feed them, and then we help to make nest boxes, which is horrendous fun.
A bit high, obviously not there.
So we're here today with the Nidderdale Conservation Volunteers, which is an absolutely fantastic group of volunteers. They meet every Tuesday, rain or shine, winter, spring, summer, any season, and they go out and do conservation work across the AONB.
Started off as open access volunteer and then got involved in this. Just enjoying working and just seeing the changes that we make to the countryside. Just love it.
I'm Peter Brambleby. I'm a former Director of Public Health for North Yorkshire. And when I'd finished my stint with the National Health Service, I felt it would be nice to have an area of woodland to get myself physically active, do something useful, and develop an idea that I've had for a long time, which is one of a natural health service as opposed to a national health service. And the ice house is a bit of a hidden gem really, because although people knew it existed, it wasn't widely visited or known. It doesn't feature in many of the guides and so forth to the big ice houses of England, so it's nice to put it back on the map.
I'm Louise and I'm one of the Historic Nidderdale project officers working on the Landscape Partnership scheme, and I'm project managing the work here at Prosperous Smelt Mill. The exciting thing about this is it's quite a sort of a hidden treasure down here in the Ashfield Side Valley. lots of people walk the Nidderdale Way, come down here on their bikes, their mountain bikes or on horses, and although they can see this sort of ruined structures and the abandoned slag heaps, they don't actually know what actually went on here and when it actually happened. And the idea is to actually try and bring the story of the lead mining landscapes to life here, so that people understand, and by understanding that they respect it and they help to curate it for future generations. So hopefully the work that we're doing here now will have a legacy for visitors, but also for people in the local area.
The odd exception, you do have 5 months of poor weather followed by 7 months of winter here. When it's beautiful, it is beautiful, and it does make up for it. Probably 2010 or 11, when we'd been here 4 or 5 years, things were starting to get a little bit easier. Walls were going up, so we weren't chasing sheep round in circles. We went on a course in October last year, to the School of Arts and Food to look at artisan cheese making, which was fantastic. We've sort of come to a point now where we are practicing making that cheese with the hope that we can make something of it.
Right, KP, that's KP you mean, don't you?
Primary sheep, secondary cattle. Up to the Milk Marketing Board being broken up in the middle 90s, there were actually 9 dairy farms in the Dale. There's only 1 left now. Anyway, previous to Natural England, 20 years ago, a Natural England advisor came down and was very impressed with the rich mix of vegetation here, so she wanted me to put into a scheme. What you might call traditional meadow. Upland meadow, and no artificial fertilisers. It's been in stewardship, environmental stewardship, under now high level scheme, but previously countryside stewardship scheme for 20 years. And I'd just like to think it's got a rich diversity of vegetation, flora.
Okay, looks after flowering. 5 millimetres long.
Yeah, there is loads of yellow back there. This is the male flower and this is the female flower. Can you all see that? It's exactly like that.
Annual, sticky, glandular, hairy.
It's very hairy, isn't it?
It is very hairy. Bracts without silvery margins. The capsule is 7 to 10 millimetres long and curved.
The good thing about umbrella fuzz is the seeds are all distinctive, and so these are just starting to get the distinctive shape to the seeds.
And I've been appointed the resident artist to Studio 6 in Patebridge. And the brief that I've got is to respond to the hay meadows of Upper Nidderdale. What I wanted to do was bring out the local school children. So there's 2 schools, St Cuthbert's in Pateley and then Fountains Earth at Loft House, are both coming out on these field days with us. And we want to get them into the hay meadows and actually seeing what's there. So you need to focus that, girls, to get that in focus. You've got the flower on it.
I'm Bob Barker, I'm the Secretary of Nidderdale Iron Age, and we're part of this UNLPS project, helping out in our farm heritage section of it, looking at surveying a good number of fields in the area and a good number of farms in order to map all the old man-made features of it. By looking at the features in certain types, you can then build up how the landscape's changed, because it allows you to take away the walls, so you can see more ancient embankments, and then you can see, put in the walls and see how the landscape's changed in terms of use of farming and hunting.
Right. Oh, it's just Jack put his work up and it's really nice. Jack, let's have a quick look. How are we going to get it then? It's a course for some students in year 10 and 11. So they are 15, 16-year-olds who come from Nidderdale High School and Community College. And they come up to number 6, Studio Gallery, where we've got facilities for them to work with craftsmen, doing jewellery, printmaking and stone carving. It's not an art-based course, it's just a skills course where they can learn new skills which will be useful for them whatever they do, whether they want to go into engineering or whether they want to go into some kind of print-making employment, or whether they want to do some stone carving on their farms.
Ed's from Nidderdale High School. We were aware of him at that point. Also a local farmer's son. And the opportunity, which has been very good, for us to have Ed 1 or 2 days a week over sort of a year period, which is fantastic because you build up that knowledge of what he's capable of. You're able to sort of suss out his strengths, find out his weaknesses. And it wasn't long before Ed earned his place here, and it's, even though I'm allegedly the boss, it's not really for me to sort of decide who stays and goes, it's the team. Everyone was asking, can we have Ed on our team? I want Ed on my job, can I have Ed tomorrow? Which to me is just gold dust.
Quite relaxing just sat there and just doing your own little world with earphones in and just put it out well. So.
My name's Alan Gardner. I've got involved today to help train people and consider why using traditional lime mortars might be appropriate on masonry rather than modern cements. School-age bursary placement lads that are here today have done a number of both historic, built and natural environment works and have spent time with a number of other people who've demonstrated or explained to them why certain traditional techniques might be more appropriate in the Nidderdale environment. And from what they're saying about it, they've got a lot out of spending time with these people.
I decided to go and learn about perhaps the skills which are still needed from history, such as stonemasonry.
Bringing more people into the Dale, which inevitably, if you draw attention to any part of the landscape, you draw people to it because you arouse their curiosity.
Whereas we may have an idea of what there is there, when we actually come to it and see the details and what it's really about, that really sparks the imagination. I think for visitors, a lot of these projects have been chosen to be particularly easy to find, so that if you wind your way up through the Dale, you'll come across them anyway.